welcome to another exciting episode of E&Ftv's Bridging the Gap. And today, delighted to be joined by Tom and Selina from Springboard. Guys, how are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you.
Very well, thanks. Yourself, Jason?
Good. Yeah, good, really good. So let me get this right. Selina, you're based in London. Tom, you're based in. Did you say Liverpool? Based up in
That is
Liverpool.
correct. Yes,
And you guys, you cover the whole of the UK amongst your team then.
we do
That's
indeed.
correct.
Brilliant. So, guys, tell us who you are and what you do for Springboard. So starting with you, Selina.
Yeah, so my name's Selina, as you know. So I'm one of the program managers based in London, but I cover London, Southeast, and the East of England. And I work predominantly on the careers and education, so working with our under 18s, but I have also worked on the employability side as well.
Brilliant. Tom.
Yeah, so my name's Tom Stephenson, and I'm the head of employability for the Springboard charity. I've been with the charity for just over 4 years, and my work, as opposed to Selena, predominantly focuses on the employability side. So there's the two arms of what Springboard does. We've got our careers and education for our pre-16s, and we've got our employability programs for 16 and or 18 plus. So my job is to look after the funders who fund our fantastic employability programs up and down the UK, covering Scotland, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, and ensuring we've got fantastic trainees going onto those programs, and more importantly, to make sure they're moving into the hospitality and tourism industry.
I sometimes guest lecture in universities, and I'm aware of you from the tutors and the educators mentioning you guys and what great work that you do. But for those that aren't sure, tell us a little bit, sticking with you, Tom, what Springboard is, what you do in a nutshell.
Yeah, I mean, we've been around for a long time, so about 35 years. We're coming up to 40 in a few years' time, I think. And our main mission, our main aim is to support the hospitality and leisure tourism industry. And we do that in two very distinct ways. As I was mentioning just previously, we've got our arm of careers and education. And this is looking at people who are pre-16 or those who are still in education, whether it's school, college, or university, and helping inform them about the wonderful opportunities there are within hospitality and tourism. And that could be from anything to giving students an insight into what the industry is about through industry visits, hospitality takeover days, our flagship Future Chef program. Um, and also supporting them with outcomes as well. So maybe they're interested in moving into a hospitality-based qualification at college or university. Maybe they're interested in going into employment, where maybe they're interested in doing an apprentice within the hospitality and tourism industry. So it's a big part of our work, careers and education. The other side of what we do is employability. And this is through our employability programs, which we run across the UK. And these are funded by various different funders, including Diageo, Barclays, the Savoy Educational Trust, and lots of local funds as well. And this is to support people who are usually either 16 plus or 18 plus. There's no upper age limit usually on our courses. For people who are NEETS, so not in education, employment, or training, and need some support to go into work. So our different employability programs that we run vary in different lengths. So sometimes we have them short as just 2 days, and sometimes they can go as long as 6 weeks. And it's all dependent on what the trainee needs. So sometimes they do need longer. Sometimes they do need that extra level of support before they move into employment. But our ultimate aim with those trainees, and as soon as they finish, they become graduates, is to support them into work. And each year within Springboard, we usually achieve over 80% of our trainees from employability programs moving into employment within the hospitality and tourism industry.
That's impressive. 80% is a lot, isn't it?
Sometimes higher, but yeah, it depends on the areas. It can be challenging, but no, we
Yeah.
do. Yeah, I think one of the things that makes us different is the aftercare that we give to our
Mm.
trainees and then graduates as well. So it's not just a case of training them for 6 weeks and then letting them loose. We
Yeah.
stay in contact with them, don't we, Selena? I know,
That's
Selena, you're in
correct.
contact with many of your graduates, aren't you? From way
Yeah.
back when.
That's correct. And we have things like the job search sessions as well. So again, that aftercare is really important. And we've got a number of graduates that come through our program. So whether it's things like our summer school, our Springboard hospitality, when they finish the program, we do, as I said, invite them to job search sessions, and we keep going until, for a period until they find what's right for them. And we've had a number of cases, or it might be, for example, someone goes into work and we're always checking up on them, making sure that they have what they need and they're able to kind of progress further as well, and share their knowledge as they have as well.
Okay, thank you. That gives me a really good overview of what you guys do. Starting pre-16, so school age, Selina. What's the when you go in, I presume you go into schools, what's the appetite like initially for a career in hospitality? Is it something you guys have to really sell in, or is the knowledge and desire already there?
We have, I think, both cases. We have people that are studying maybe a food-based, or they're studying a hospitality or tourism qualification. And I think what we do with our programs is really help them to see the opportunities that are available. The fact that hospitality or tourism, is something that you can do. There's lots of different roles, there's lots of different skills, there's the back areas involved, and there's different types of businesses. So what we do, it's a lot about giving people the information and the valuable tools to really understand the depth and breadth of the industry. The fact that there is progression, that there's apprenticeship options, that, there's, depending on your personality, you can choose a location that works really well for you, and if you're a technical person or you have creative skills, we're definitely seeing there's more options. So things like the takeover days that we have are usually really great opportunities, because we either work with the hotels directly, or if it's in another location, we have business partners that will offer a range of different skills. So, for example, it might be, your baristas, it might be your mocktail making, but also things like social media and marketing, kind of housekeeping, the technology side of things, and some of those supportive roles. So people really get to see that kind of depth and breadth of the offer and the options that are available, and can have that real life understanding of what's involved in the career and the different things that are available to them.
Of which there are many without a doubt. So you mentioned
So
takeover days. What other ways how do you engage with pre-16s? What kind of tools have you got in your arsenal? What do you do to engage them?
So, in addition to the takeover days, we also attend careers events. So, I've got a number of careers events that come through the year, whether it's directly coming to the school, as I said, and we deliver talks as well within that. So, either working with a business partner or being able to deliver. We have a really good resource based ourselves. So, our Career Scope website has lots of different tools on there. Teachers can have access to set up their own account. Again, those taster opportunities. And we're always building those relationships with our business partners as well. So again, those ongoing visits, we have the career hubs, the interviews, where they can actually speak and work with people directly. So there's definitely a lot of different ways, and a lot of the behind the scenes work is about building those relationships with the schools, with the professionals, and also putting them in touch with, the business partners as well. And just again, showcasing those different options.
Busy lady, busy lady.
Yeah.
Tom, I'm sure you're equally as busy. Same question to you, I suppose. What ways and how do you engage with post-16 trainees, NEETs?
So we work with a number of different referral partners. Our biggest one is Department of Work and Pensions, or job centres, who, people who are on universal credits and are struggling to get into work. And that is where the bulk of our referrals come from. But we also have lots of other different referral partners up and down the UK as well, because not everyone is claiming universal credits. Some are going through different types of organisations, and they've all got their own particular niches. So we get some which are very much focused on, 18 to 25s. We will get some which are women-centric. We will get others which are faith-based. So, and they may come through to us like that. But what they've all got in common is that they're interested in going back to work in hospitality and tourism or starting a new career in hospitality and tourism. And because of that, we get people from all different walks of life coming to us. We get some people who've been in the industry for many, many years, don't we, Selena? But have taken a career break for whatever reason. It could be due to childcare, it could be due to long-term sickness. They may have been out of the country, they may be coming back. But we do get a lot of people, especially our younger trainees, who are starting out in the industry for the first time. And in some cases, it's their very first job as well. So when we get these referrals through from all these different referral partners up and down the UK, we have a screening process in place to speak with potential trainees. So what we like to do initially is find out what they're interested in, what are their barriers to employment, what is stopping them getting a job at the moment, and that helps us identify a suitable course as well. As part of those conversations, we start talking about what they're interested in as well. Are they creative, little chefs? Are they people who are very focused on customers and maybe want to work in, say, the hotel industry? Are they a bit more lively? Do they want to work in the bar industry? So we try and suss that out as well to try and match them up with a different type of course. Because all of the different courses that we have offer something different. So, for example, our Diageo-based courses focus mainly on bartending. So you get things like cocktail masterclass, alcohol licensing qualifications, bar skills. Whereas some of our other courses, such as Barclays, tend to focus more on front of house and culinary skills. So through those courses, we get a lot of budding chefs. We get a lot of people who are very much focused on things like being servers and interested in progressing that way as well. So it's all about talking to the individuals, trying to understand what they're about, what their barriers are, and how we can help them through one of our courses.
I was reading before we came on screen that some of the testimonials from learners that have passed through Springboard, a little bit emotional actually. You obviously know them as people that you've worked with, but a lady that had struggled mentions having Tourette's had been, and it shouldn't be, but a barrier towards gaining meaningful employment. A guy that struggled with addiction. And it come to you guys for help, having held a job for a long time, but quite sort of fallen off the wagon, so to speak. It must leave you with a sense of pride when you've effectively helped rebuild these people's lives, Selina.
Yeah, it really does. And I think that's the thing that really I think motivates you to do what you motivates us anyway to do what we do. It's that real story and real journey and just being able to be part of, that person's life and see those stories like that. Yeah, it's really, really inspiring. And, we've got so many cases, as you said, where with people who've started off with a lack of confidence and feeling, very challenged, especially kind of I see it in the younger cohort as well. They've applied for jobs, they've looked at different things and things haven't worked out, or they've not gone, to school hasn't been a great journey. But through coming to the program, through interacting with other people, and even I forgot to mention it earlier on, but we have our Future Chef program again as part of one of the main things that we do for our under 16s and just seeing that confidence and that shift and someone have that opportunity and that kind of and take advantage of it. It's a really wonderful thing to see, and to see the different skills, as I said, and abilities that people have.
Do you find that there's been just sticking with the chef thing? Has there been a resurgence in the interest in cooking with, I suppose, all the cooking programs on TV from Bake Off to the Gordon Ramsay stuff to Jamie Oliver going back over the last sort of 10 or 15 years? Is that something now young people want to kind of emulate the heroes that they see on TV?
Yeah, I think definitely, but also I think the fact that there's new and creative and inspiring ways. Again, we've got lots of programs, as I said, that do focus around simplicity or quicker meals, but it's also great to see, as I said, when we have our Future Chef competitions, people that are 14, 15 years old, and in fact, comparing this year to last year already increased, but this year applications have increased, and we've got returning schools, we've got new schools, and people that have shared their experience with others. And it's good to see that people can be creative, as I said, with food and, even with smaller ingredients, you can still have that. So yeah, that's definitely been wonderful to see.
I think
It's
also beyond work, it's skills for life as well, isn't it? I remember I did I've talked about it on this program before, but I did a 18-month trainee management scheme with the hotel I was in to give me exposure to
Mm.
each facet of the hotel. And one of them was I spent 6 months-ish in the kitchen. And actually, I lived at home with my mum. I was 19. I'd never cooked anything really, made anything beyond a sandwich. So, and those skills that I learned there, I still employ today.
Mm.
Obviously you leave home, you have to learn to cook, and that was a real springboard for me in learning how to kind of look after myself. So and I suppose that goes through not just cooking, but also um, soft skills are something you guys mentioned earlier that are important for life as well. Tom, tell us a little bit about soft skills and how you kind of support people in gaining those, be that, pre or post 16.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's pre or post 16, the soft skills are very important. So, whether it's one of our careers and education activities, our summer school, which we run after high schools finish in the summer, or whether it's one of our employability programs, some of the things that we will embed on all of our courses is CVs, interview skills, and teamwork and communication. They're the three main pillars of what we do. Now, if it's, for example, a longer course like 6 week, we also build in other soft skills as well, such as budgeting, such as mental health. But if it's only a shorter course, we don't always need as many soft skills because those individuals already have those skills, within them. But trying to get them into work for something they want to do and something they're passionate about, that's why we need to get those soft skills built in. So, when people come onto our programs, they more often than not have a CV on our employability programs, maybe less so with our careers and education activities because they're just starting out with their work search. But what we want to do with them is not just to have a okay CV, we want them to have a wow CV. So we are always trying to reinvent and keep up with trends when it comes to CVs. So we're very much focusing on things like graphic design and making them colourful, bold, and beautiful. Hospitality is a very visual industry. They really go off personality a lot. So they like these really exciting and interesting CVs. So it's not just about the words we're trying to get onto the paper, then we want to also their personalities to be expressed in their CVs as well. And that kind of goes into when we come to their interview skills as well. We're not just focusing on the words they want to say, we're trying to get them to express themselves. And this is where other soft skills come in as well, such as how they communicate. So we really focus on their body language. We pick up on things in the classroom with them, how are they presenting themselves? Are they smiling in front of employers? How are they acting within interviews? Have they got the right tone? Are they expressing themselves? And as Selina was saying, one of the biggest things is confidence, especially for the younger trainees, isn't it, Selina? That tends to be the
Definitely.
biggest barrier, definitely. So a course like what we do with Springboard, whether it's a bar-based one or a culinary-based one, there's lots of practical skills in that as well. So even though those practical skills are teaching them how to pour a pint, teaching them how to, chop some vegetables, it's also building their confidence as well. They're working within a team, they're getting coached, and it really does build them up. And me and Selena, we've seen many examples of, especially young trainees, but anyone of any age, they start off very shy on the first day of the course. And as they progress over to week 2, week 3, maybe even further, they really do come out of their shells and they're far more confident. And then that rewarding bit is seeing them go into a job, sticking with it. And in some cases, we even stay in touch with them and see them get promoted or maybe move into another part of the hospitality industry as well. So it's nice to see those journeys from when they start with us to progressing in their own careers.
Yeah, as I say, it must be very rewarding. Have you created your first general manager yet?
I've got a few. I have been with the charity for about 4 years though, so um, yeah, I've got a few examples. I mean, one of my very first trainees, which was back in COVID, this is when we did everything online. Very challenging to try and do, cocktails through Microsoft Teams or something, but we managed. So Selena's head all these stories, haven't you, about COVID times? So, but yeah, one of my very first trainees he was from the Northwest. He had a lot of barriers to employment. Um, he was in an unemployed household. His partner didn't work. He had two young children. He was an ex-offender, long-term unemployment, but he was a very boisterous individual, and very confident as well. And he also had the gift of the gab. And one thing that we talked about early on was talking about him moving into maybe a sales role in the future as well.
Mm.
So we eventually got him started in a very, junior sales position, with one of the hotel groups in the Northwest. He stuck with them for a couple of years, but then he made the move about, I think it was just shy of 2 years ago, over to Dubai, working in the hotel industry over there. And he's moved into like a senior sales type of position. So it's wonderful to hear about that, him going over there, being able to support his now wife and his two children as well, and to see how he's turned his life
Mm.
around. So it's wonderful when they do keep in contact and to hear those wonderful success stories.
Mm. Essentially, hospitality is an industry where certainly at a junior level, those soft skills are going to get you through the door and get you excelling in, throughout your career, but certainly in that early part. And, no matter what, tell me if I'm wrong, but the barriers to entry into hospitality are fairly low. As long as you've got desire and passion and a little bit of grit, then you can kind of really go far in the industry. So I'm glad to see that you guys look to cultivate these soft skills in the way that you do.
Mm. Yeah.
You've mentioned, and I'm quite pleased to hear, some sort of non-operational positions. So you mentioned sales, marketing. Um, I think some of the problems that you may encounter, Selena, in what you do in pre-16 is that most people, when if you were to say name a position in a hotel, you may get chef, manager,
Mm.
reception. Back of house kind of struggles for visibility, really. Um, we specialize in revenue management recruitment for hospitality, but also sales, marketing, e-commerce as well. So non-ops roles. We also work a lot with universities, heading up Bridging the Gap Roundtable at the minute,
Mm.
where commercial leaders get around the table with recent grads, students, and teachers from colleges and universities, educators, to discuss kind of how to bridge the gap between school and hospitality commercial function. What's the kind of appetite like in your kind of in what you do? I suppose to you both really to kind of pursuing a career in hospitality commercial versus ops.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm starting definitely we're having more conversations about those other options. And
Yeah,
particularly when we have the platforms to go to the careers events or to speak to the teachers or to deliver a workshop, then that's a really great opportunity. So, for example, I've attended many where we have people who, they want to study maybe IT or they've got those sort of technical skills. But actually, as you said, it's bridging that gap between actually hospitality is such a vast industry. You can bring that into those settings. So
yeah,
I think for us, it's also about showcasing that this is an option, helping, with the Career Scope website that we have, as mentioned, teachers, as I said, can have that platform to go on. They can have resources. The students themselves can see it. They can hear from, we're working with more recruitment, members of the teams within the hospitality department to put on a lot of our events. So by having that, then that I think is really highlighting that these are an option and people are looking for those areas as well. We're building, even when we have the programs that we have and there's a work experience element, again, people are able to do that work as well with those colleagues in those commercial departments and they can see. So this actually is something I can do. So there's value obviously in all aspects of hospitality, but it then just opens the door so much more because they can use those different skills. And again, it's just thinking creatively about the
Mm.
industry, the perks, the great things of the industry, regardless of the role that you're doing.
Mm.
It's nice to hear the
And
story about sales. Sorry, Tom, go on.
now I was just going to say it's one of our biggest challenges is to try and get that message across to both people in education and people who are, unemployed, just how big the industry is and the opportunities that are out
Mhm.
there for them. I
Yeah.
think when they come onto the course, you are right, they often think that it's very much just service based, waiter, bartender, kitchen porter, housekeeper, etc. And they don't often realize the amount of roles that are actually out there or what they could progress into
Mm.
with the right work or the necessary qualifications or apprentice roles, etc. But we highlight those through our careers and education activities and our employability courses, and we get a lot of businesses involved with both our careers and education activities and our employability programs as well to talk about those. For example, in Liverpool, we work very closely with the ACC, the events arena, also known as the M&S arena, which is run by Sodexo Live. They do wonderful visits for our employability programs and our hospitality takeover days for school children as well. And they really go into detail about the different types of roles they can do there. And in fact, just over a year ago, we had one of our Springboard graduates, a young man who hadn't worked in the industry before. He'd done a bit of retail, and he was really just looking for a bar job, but he actually got really interested in the event side of things, and he got picked up quite snappy by them, and they talent spotted him and wanted to progress him quite quickly. He's now a floor manager for the ACC Liverpool, and he's been doing big events. He's just done a Labour Party conference, for example. But it's something where he's progressed quite fast into in just the space of 12 months. And
Mm.
that's something he never really had his eye on, working in events. But it's a big part of hospitality and tourism is events, and that's one of the ones that do get overlooked. And I'm sure that's something
Mhm.
he'll succeed in moving forward.
Yeah, in the same way that certain jobs in hospitality get overlooked, I suppose certain hospitality venues get overlooked. People, I suppose if you
Mm,
asked 100 people to name, hospitality venue, 80 would say hotel. Would
That's
think
it.
of a
Yeah.
hotel, but actually there are so many more and more events venues popping up, um, as well as bars, as well as cafes, sandwich shops.
mm,
Di different ways that people. I suppose things are changing all the time, aren't they? Even within, hospitality hotels, they've changed so much over the last 20 years. It's not necessarily a bed, a TV, room service. Some of the places I've stayed in, have taken different concepts. You've got the neighborhood thing with Airbnb, and things are kind of changing all the time. That must um, I suppose, make it interesting for you guys to kind of keep changing what you're offering in terms of teaching to keep up with the pace of change.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we recently, with the kind of the careers and education side, we do a lot of visits, as I said, to different venues and places. And
Yeah.
again, I did one recently, and it was kind of, again, like a box park type, sort of setting. But it was really good for them to see that, how multiple businesses, food businesses kind of can work and coexist, and the sustainability aspect kind of that they were all focusing on, which again brought a different dynamic, to people. Because I think a lot of the students at the time were studying leisure and tourism, so they were thinking a lot about airlines, but actually seeing that there's lots of different ways that things can, kind of come in. And I think that's also the element of learning for us as members of the team, is making sure that we're kind of really up to date and keeping our knowledge up to date on types of businesses, our business partners, and what's on offer as well.
And
Brilliant.
yeah, it's really important for us to stay up to date, as Selina said, but we have so many contacts with the industry ourselves, and it's good that we stay in contact with them. They're the ones on the ground. It can be quite. It's sometimes difficult, sometimes to speed just by yourself, isn't it, Selena? Because you're really just focused on educating young people or training people to go into work and getting them into work, that you sometimes lose track sometimes with the trends that are happening. But that's why we rely on our Springboard ambassadors. They're people who support charitable time to our charity, and also our business partners as well, who support us in many different ways. But they keep us up to date with what's happening, how the hotel industry is doing, number of new restaurants opening, what's new on menu items at the moment. So it's all really important, isn't it, Selena? So we can communicate that with anyone we work with.
Definitely. And I think also because most of us have experience in some elements of hospitality as well. So it's really keeping those connections and that knowledge fresh as well.
Yeah, brilliant. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I've really enjoyed learning a little bit more, knew some bit about what you guys do. And I think it is so critical that you guys carry on doing what you're doing. If anyone wants to get in touch with you to support, or be that student or trainees or anyone kind of wanted to offer sponsorship or anything like that, how best to get in touch with you?
So if anyone would like to contact us directly by email, we've got our general information email. So that's info@springboarduk.org.uk. And you can also check out our website as well, where we've got contact pages. So you can either go to Springboard. If you just Google Springboard Charity, that's usually the easiest way. And we've also got Career Scope as well, which is our one-stop shop when it comes to our employability program. So on Career Scope, again, if you just want to Google that, you'll be able to find information about upcoming courses, upcoming programs, and lots of different resources on there as well. Anything from looking for live vacancies if you're ready to jump straight into the industry without any supports. And if you do need support, there's lots of different tools and resources there to look at, as well as to look at employability program provision as well. Anything I've missed there, Selena?
And then obviously social media as well. We're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, and Facebook as well. So yeah.
You can always give us a message on LinkedIn as well. That's another way to contact.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, yeah, I'd encourage anyone to have a look at the website, if only to have a look at peruse through the testimonials, because they are really a good read, but also some really emotive stories in there as to how you guys have impacted people's lives. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing.
We will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's what we've got time for this week. Like and share the show because it helps us attract cool guests like Tom and Selena from Springboard.